Welcome to Logan's Corner, the Move Way. So today's episode, man, we're gonna talk about a few things. We gotta talk about the COVID vaccine with the booster. But just a few shout outs before we get started. Shout out to our Jizzle with the 100 brand. Y'all get at it. Shout out to Sippin' Drippin'. Y'all see it. Shout out to Sippin' Drippin' Cast, man. Shout out to everybody who's doing great things in the community. But let's get into our show. On our national level, we see that the Taliban has overtaken Afghanistan. Shout out to our troops that are going back over into the land, the fighting, the ones that's over there. We're praying that you guys make it home safely. You're in our thoughts, you're in our prayers. Your families are in our prayers. Be safe, come back home. We love you and we appreciate you what you do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the booster shot that just came out recently this week, where you seen President Biden announced Tuesday there is a booster on the way and it's out. If you have any critical illnesses or underlying conditions, you can get that soon as possible. But if you had your 2 shots already, you have to wait 8 months to get it. So be on the lookout for that. Another thing, we know school started this week, and if your kid, I know they haven't mandated that kids wear masks, but if you got that choice, please make sure your child is safe, wear a mask, clean hands, all that matters. So that's just a little bit on the COVID vaccine or COVID update. Let's get into it. So local news, locally. Again, last week we had a lot of back to school bashes. Shout out to everybody who done Impact community outreach did a bash. Vincetta, shout out to her. She had it at the skate ring. Heard it was a great success, man. It's always great to have people come together and give back to our youth, because they are our today and not our future. So shout out to everyone who done that. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Gaffney Indians. Shout out to them. They beat Spartanburg 31-12. Also, we want to talk about the Blacksburg Wildcats. Had a tough outing, but seen some great things come out of it. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get back online and on track, and then they're gonna get some winning some games. But let's get to the Gaffney Indians. So they beat Spartanburg 31-12. Great outing. Seen a lot of young talent. Shout out to Jaden Tate. Big time receiver, 86 yards. I think he had like 4 catches, so that's awesome. But let's talk about the backfield. Let's talk about Thunder and Lightning with Tyler Smith and Ken Littlejohn. Those guys, 10 and 11. Those guys had a great game that night. The offensive line set up to be one of the best offensive lines I've seen in a while, since maybe 06, 07. You got some heavy hitters on the offensive line. So it's gonna be a real good thing to see what's going on next week, which we know that Dutch Fork is coming to town, and everybody's they 34th in the nation, 35th in the nation. One of the things that the ESPN writer pointed out, that their coach said that Gaffney was scared of playing them. I think that's going to give a little bit more added motivation to the boys, especially coming to the reservation. We call the dark code. Y'all know how it is. Black Friday, 92 defense. So, state champs, so we got a lot of things coming, and the game is going to be great. Looking to see that game, looking to see the players that haven't step up. We know that a lot of players didn't get to play last week. Shug Jeffries sat out for a little bit. Looking for him to come back this week, have some great numbers. Bray Littlejohn played a little bit, but looking for him to step up a little bit more and play a little bit more in this game. So I think this is going to be an awesome game. So the next thing we're going to talk about, let's get into it. College football is around the corner. Alabama, Miami, September the 4th in the Atlanta Dome. Again, the spread is 18 points. I think Miami is going to keep the game close. I think it's going to be a great one. Then you have Clemson and Georgia. That's going to be a great game. So you having a great Labor Day weekend. And then Sunday starts the NFL season. Stop it. You cut that part. Huh?
It'll be that Thursday.
You gonna cut that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be that
Yeah.
Thursday.
So that Thursday, the NFL season starts, And we have the Cowboys and the Buccaneers playing each other. Again, Tom Brady wins his 7th ring, and I'm looking like he's going for 8. But should be a great game. Should be a great atmosphere. Fun to watch. But, you know, all in all, still a fan. So I'm riding with my Steelers regardless of anything. But let's get into moves, inspiration. Guys, we have to stop killing one another. The crime rates is very high. Love always overcomes fear and hate. You should be a man or a woman to talk about your situation. If you're not willing to talk about it, bring somebody in so we can have that third party and we can kind of talk about what we need to talk about. But losing our people to the jail cells and to the grave, we got to stop doing it. God doesn't like it. And we know in his word, he says that, you know, he's want to give love and prosperity and peace. And that's what we need. But we have to stop killing one another, guys. We know black lives do matter. Awesome. We know they matter. But how much do they matter to us? And that's what counts. When it start mattering to us, it'll start mattering to everybody else. But not going to preach to you. But we appreciate you, what you're doing in Gaffney. And we're going to keep the city moving. We're going to keep the city vibing. And always, move way is the best way. Holla at us. So, again, Gaffney playing Dutch Fork. But our hit of the week, Caliber Huey. Wow, man, when I tell you this dude, man, it was one of them hits. Remind me when Gaffney played Dorman about 4 or 5 years ago and dude helmet popped off. Hit of the week goes to Caliber Huey. Tyler Smith with the truck stick of the week. Dude did not try to shy away from anything. He laid it down. It was the train whack. That's the move way, baby. You get what I'm saying? Another thing going on in our community. We talked a little bit about the recreational center that's coming to Gaffney. We got into it with one of our county councilman, Lyman Dawkins, where he informed us that the recreational center itself is going to run that. Don't know any prices, don't know how it's going to be ran, but we'll have some more things on it. But I'm looking forward to having it here. I think it'll keep some of my kids engaged, out of trouble, and it gives Gaffney something to do. So shout out to the recreational department and the county council for getting that abroad. Another thing, Dr. Moss has pronounced that he would love to see public transit in Gaffney. Don't know about you. I think that would help in a lot of areas. I know we're not Spartanburg or Greenville, but we do need the transit because a lot of our elderly people can't get to the doctor's appointments, can't get to the grocery stores. A lot of our children can't get from Connecticut Village to the Big E. So that's another great thing that will that help us in the long run for our kids to get to these public places. And we need this to grow our area. It helps in our economical system. It helps grow our city. So we do need that infrastructure to grow. Let's talk about, again, with the madness with football coming around. Football is here. But let's keep in mind that we have to keep ourselves safe, washing our hands, wearing our masks. No, it's not mandated, but it's recommended. Again, if you haven't got your vaccine, try to get your vaccine. These are great things to help us and tools to help us to get to where we're going. I never say it's gonna go backwards, because I always look forward. And looking forward, you can look forward to some great things, and I think some great things are happening in Gaffney. Shout out to everybody who's doing something. And again, we appreciate you. And it's the moves way, baby. Logan's Corner. We're holla.